Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys Spider-Man No Way Home 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Now today we are taking a look at Peter 1 in his integrated suit, specifically the deluxe version. Now I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They do have installment plans and a reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon and join button so you're notified as soon as a brand new review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, first of all, whoa, this thing is huge. Second, I really like the image. Now, for some reason, for integrated suit, they have gone with the concept art version. He is wearing the golden web shooters, and his hands are the incorrect color scheme. Does that bother me? No, not really. As long as the figure is correct, I'm happy. He's swinging through a Doctor Strange portal. You have some lightning up the top for Electro, pumpkin bombs for Green Goblin, and of course, Doc Ock's tentacle. Down below, Spider-Man integrated suit, deluxe version. Now, this is a mix of finishes with this matte textured finish on the side, and the rest of the image is glossy. Speaking of the side, on the side of the box, we have the rest of the portal, the rest of Doc Ock's tentacles, some lightning, plus that mix of textures, matte finish and glossy. On the other, we do have the same thing once again, but I really like this kind of tech web pattern done in gloss over the textured finish. Up top, we have an image from the film of the integrated suit. On the back, they've doubled down on the images. We have a whole lot more. There's Spidey trying to impale Green Goblin, but Toby says, no, you ain't gonna do that, no killing, this ain't that kind of movie. We also have an image of integrated suit swinging, plus up top, that iconic image of all three Spideys. Well, minus one. Not exactly sure what happened to the other Spidey, but he's definitely supposed to be there. Then we have all the warnings and legal info. On the inside, this looks incredible. It's the integrated suit Spidey logo, plus the torn multiverse and Doctor Strange's magical portal. Then in the middle, Spider-Man integrated suit. Back around the front, we have a full open window showcasing Spidey inside and a bunch of accessories. Do let me know if you are enjoying this new unboxing format. For me, I think it works really well. Overall, I find it just a lot snappier. See what I did there? Snap transition, snappier, I am so sorry. Now we do have multiple trays here. The top tray contains the figure plus his inaccurate Spidey arms, more on that a little bit later. As for integrated suit, first impressions are pretty good. I'm already loving the color scheme here. Down below we do have a second tray, so what we are going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box, take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with not the display base first. Tricky, I know. Usually we do start with the display base, but this time we still are, but just not the display base that comes with this guy. What do I mean by that? Well, these are the deluxe accessories. He comes with the diorama base. So if you want this stand, you have to get the standard. Up front it says integrated suit, up top a glossy spider symbol with this brushed gold print on the surface. In the background, some textured red, there's a gradient to it, and there's also this web pattern. Then up top, an articulated flagpole arm and a spring-loaded waist clamp. Now, if you are using this waist clamp, please be really careful. There is some foam padding, but the front of this does like to dig into the suit over time. I really thought Hot Toys were going to nix these, but I'm glad they didn't. It's the spider arms. There's these blades up the top, and they are a little bit prickly. They're painted well. There's some gold and some blue sections, plus multiple points of articulation, and they're all ratcheted. Now, in the movie, we never actually saw him use these, but technically, surely he could have deployed them if he wanted to. 'Cause what's integrated about the integrated suit is combining the Iron Spider tech with the upgraded suit. These new web wings, or sugar glider wings, they're a huge step in the right direction. There's this satin red stripe, some metallic gold, and also some black striping. We still have the magnets along the edge, but this time they're a lot thicker and sturdier. With previous versions of the web wings, they were really flimsy and plasticky. Fingers crossed these attach better than those previous ones. I can't wait to find out. For Spidey's webbing, we get the usual suspects. On the right, the spooled up web that inserts at the top and bottom of Spidey's hand, so it looks like he's grabbed a bunch of webbing. Maybe he's web swinging. We do get a right-angled web specifically designed for web swinging. Then we get some longer ones that you can attach to the Spidey funnel, although they are quite long and this tends to droop over time. Then we get some shorter ones which work really nicely for shooting some webs at some villains. They are also cast in this kind of smoky plastic, so I guess they look like webs, which is after all what they're designed for, so they get a tick from me. Now for head sculpts, we do get 3 in total. The masked head sculpt that's already on Spidey, an unmasked one, and the half-masked one. Now this one we have seen before with the upgraded suit, but this time it's painted slightly differently. I wouldn't say better, just different. The hair is a little bit darker and his skin tone is slightly more HD. The expression, the placement of the eyes, it's all identical. Now, I don't really know which one I prefer, but honestly, I'm leaning towards the old one. I like the lighter hair. But that is so subjective. It's literally down to the smallest color difference in the hair, so you let me know which one you prefer. The half-masked head sculpt we've also seen before. Very recently though, with the upgraded suit battle damage figure from No Way Home. Now this time the mask isn't anywhere near as dirty, all these splotches of dirt are gone, so that means this one is way more compatible with your other Spideys. Cause if you did just have a dirty mask on a clean suit, it would be a little bit weird. The likeness is absolutely there for Tom Holland, the skin texture is super HD, and they've even got the damaged eyebrow, which he has IRL. For some smaller accessories, and maybe a little bit more playful ones, we do get his cell phone and his mask. Why do I say they're more playful? Well, this can be used for a bunch of different posing options. You can have Spidey taking a selfie. You can have him taking a photo of someone in your collection. I really like this type of accessory because it's so versatile. Now the screen on this one is off. For some reason they didn't print anything on the surface, but I'm still really happy we got a phone. We also get Spidey's mask, and yes, it is fabric. You can't remove the lenses, just like you can't on the half-masked head sculpt. Now this is mainly used to be held. No, you can't put this mask on the Tom Holland head sculpt, which you wouldn't want to anyway, because that would look really goofy. As for Spidey's lenses, we do get the full array, as usual. Up top, the closed-eyed Peter Tingle, then slightly squinted, then squinted again, but slightly more open, then down below, more wide open. There is a final set that's fully wide open, already on the figure. And lastly, a bunch of hands. Now, the red sections are textured well and raised, just like the suit, so they blend quite nicely. There's also these printed lines on the black section, once again, just like the suit itself. Now, Hot Toys did add these new pointing finger hands for the meme. Of course they did, they absolutely needed to. If you're wondering, ooh, how do you install the webs on the web shooting hands? Well, it's actually pretty clever. Hot Toys have designed this palm piece to be removable. So when you do take it off, you simply swap it with this web shooting version and plug the web in. Now, it's a little bit fiddly to do on camera, but I will try my best to show you how this all looks and works in practice later on. But for those wondering, okay, enough about the accessories, we want to see the diorama display base. Here it is in parts and pieces. Not what you're expecting? Well, I want to show you how to put this thing together. It is simple, but I still think worth showing. Step 1, combine the flagpole. You simply screw these two together. Step 2, take off the cap on the newly combined flagpole and slide on the waist clamp. You may need to tighten or loosen this screw if you find it sliding up and down too easily, or not at all. Now that our flagpole is fully baked, we can plug it into the display base. Now the display base is made of some rubbery style vinyl plastic, so it might be a little bit tricky to do, but trust me, wiggle it in, it'll be perfectly fine. The final step, Doc Ock's tentacles. Now at first glance they look the same, but they aren't. As you can see, it's quite loosey-goosey in this back one. That's because this tentacle was designed for the other port. It also looks like they're threaded, but it's actually a friction fit. When you do plug it in, it's really secure, which is a good thing because these tentacles are posable. That's more like it. Here we have it, fully assembled. And in my opinion, this is Hot Toys' new best diorama display base ever. You don't have to agree with me though, let me know which is your favorite diorama display base down below. The Sculpt is good, it's not overly big in terms of the footprint, although it is very tall. Plus, depending on how you pose the tentacles, it can be quite wide up above. Down below, we do have chunks of concrete, maybe from the scaffolding and the construction where they battled near the Statue of Liberty. We also have some pieces of metal, and it looks like metal. It's scratched and worn and maybe sandblasted, because there's a bunch of sand here. The sand is well textured and well painted as well. There's also some sand inside the girder, which is a nice touch. I kind of like how it's spilling down the side there on the inside. The girder itself does have multiple layers of paint with some oil stains and dirt and grime. Then around the back, some pumpkin bombs and some smoke trails. The smoke trails start off slightly more translucent with this pearlescent paint. It picks up the light really well. Then around the front, they're slightly more opaque. We also have a beautiful metallic finish on the pumpkin bombs and a little green dot in the center. Then my personal favorite thing, the tentacles. They are fully wired and articulated, more on that later on. And we do have two different styles. The square one, which does have this big honkin' red dot in the middle, and the slightly more pointy one, again with the red dot. Then up above, the dynamic flagpole that we installed earlier. Overall, super happy with this display base, but I still would have really liked the option of the standard one at the same time. And in the same package, cause look at the size difference, the standard base just takes up a whole lot less room. You may be thinking, Justin, just get the standard one then, quit complaining. And normally I would, but the deluxe version comes with the awesome half-masked Peter head sculpt. And I'm pretty sure more than a few people, they would want this display base and that Peter Parker head sculpt. Enough complaining about the bases though, what we are going to do now is get Peter 1 in his integrated suit himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Don't worry, that stuff comes a little bit later. So far so good, he's pretty awesome. Okay, moving on. In all seriousness though, he is really good. The proportions look super real, but Hot Toys have reused this body a bunch of times before, it's nothing new. Something that is new though is the suit itself. I was worried that it was just going to be a reuse of the upgraded suit. When this guy was announced, I thought to myself, oh okay, how good can it really be? It's the upgraded suit with some gold trimming. For the most part, it kind of is that, and a whole lot more at the same time. Now, they have added a bunch of gold, which helps this guy stand out in the collection. It's super metallic and very lush, but the patterns on the red and black suit are also different. And you'll see what I mean when we do some comparisons. Up close and personal, kicking things off with the masked head sculpt. Now, we do have arguably two way more exciting head sculpts to look at on this body, so we'll be relatively quick here. I like the shape. There's a suggestion of Spidey's nose and ears, and it's very oval, which to me looks accurate to the movie. I also dig the textured fabric, it matches the bodysuit. Although, if I was being very critical, this is a teeny tiny nitpick, the web lines are a little bit lighter than the suit itself. Now, something that genuinely does bug me, arachnid, spider, I'm so sorry, is the bump on his noggin. Now, for some reason, they've been getting better and better with these bumps, trying to minimize them, but not with this guy, it's very prominent. That is the stitching mark where the two pieces of fabric meet in the middle. They could have tucked that into a ridge in the plastic head sculpt, which they've done before. But with this guy, it's kind of obvious. Now, if you're also wondering, ooh, how do you switch out the lenses? Is it tricky? Well, if you have fingernails, no, it's pretty simple. You want to push the top corner, and you can remove the lenses from the front. You can see there's a little divot around the back that the little top piece slides into. And now, Spidey's winking. Come on, Spidey, be serious, this is a review. To remove the other side, it's the exact same thing. And now, with the other eye popped in, Spidey is ready for battle. I'm a huge fan of these swap-out lenses, so seeing the full array with this guy, yeah, makes me pretty happy. Then again, you may be thinking, Justin, you dork, you always love your Hot Toys, and yeah, guilty as charged, usually I do. But sometimes there's a real stinker. Luckily, this guy isn't one of them. Now, with the unmasked head sculpt on, I reckon he looks even better. The likeness to Tom Holland is there from every angle, like we discussed earlier. but for some reason, is it just me or does his neck look a little bit low? Now, I'm pretty sure the culprit is the suit because there's a bunch of air here. If you push in on the suit, then his neck suddenly looks way more in proportion. I'm not sure why there's an air gap, maybe for articulation, but as it stands, he looks quite bulky, which for some people could work because this version of Spidey, he was a straight brawler. If you do like living on the edge though, you could just leave the head sculpt ever so slightly sitting on the neck peg. It's not pushed all the way down, so his neck is slightly longer. Why would it be living on the edge? Because if you bump this guy, his head sculpt does stand the chance of falling off. So for me, I'm going to push it all the way down. One thing that I think could have really helped this though is a split in the suit and a skin tone neck. Unfortunately, this guy didn't get that, unlike the new red and blue suit Spidey, and the friendly neighborhood Spidey, and the amazing Spidey as well. Why did integrated suit get shortchanged with the outfit going up underneath the head sculpt, we'll never know. It doesn't look awful, but a skin tone neck would have been icing on the cake. If you're wondering how to install the inaccurate but still really cool iron spider legs, it's really simple. You firstly want to remove these caps around the back and read what it says. It's really tiny, but this one says "you are," meaning up and right. It also has an arrow pointing up, so you know this one's for the top layer. Then when you bring in the corresponding arm, who would have guessed it says the same thing, top layer and on the right. So when you plug it in, it is a tight fit, but when it goes in all the way, it should nicely conform to the body. And of course, it does have multiple points of articulation. He's not really any good with just one arm though. To make an impact, he of course needs all 4 of them. And now he's a real spider, 8 legs in total. No, I'm so sorry. Now, like I said, they're not film accurate at all. He never used the arms in this outfit, but there's no denying it adds a ton of presence. Plus, because they are multi-jointed and there's no rubbery stuff at play, you can go crazy with the posing. So even if you have Spidey in a more neutral pose, you can bring some more dynamicness, if that's a word, back to the figure by posing the spider arms. Back around the front, this was a pretty risky move by both Sony and Marvel. It could have absolutely backfired because a lot of people, they love the upgraded suit. The big honkin' gold spider symbol could have come across tacky and almost gaudy. Luckily though, I don't think it does, I think it works here. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that this is straight up pretty. Now, the red fabric is that stretchy lightweight spandex with the printed web lines and the texture on the surface. Yes, it is screen printed, it's textural, you can feel it. The black portions are rubbery fabric and the detail there is stunning too. We've got multiple different lines and crosshatch patterns and even some breaks in between them for panel lining. Then, front and center, the big gold spider symbol. It's very obvious, you can't miss it. There's this textured grid pattern on the surface, it's also suitably metallic and quite shiny. You do have some indented lines, which I can't imagine was easy to do. Overall, it is similar to upgraded suit, but not identical. You can see the patterns on the arms are different. There are also some red lines on the lat sections, and the belt pieces, they're missing. Now, unfortunately, the added collarbone detail, which I loved on the upgraded suit, isn't present here. I'm not sure why it's missing, but up the top, it is quite smooth. Coming down to the legs, you may be thinking, oh, same as upgraded suit, right? Because when Doc Ock's tentacle grabbed onto the front of Peter and gave him back the nanobots, nothing really happened down here. Actually, no, there is a lot new here as well. You do have a bunch of these new glossy black lines over the black sections of the suit and some more breaks down for the knee area, which means there's just a lot more visual interest. There's more to look at. We do have multiple gold sections and coming down to the feet, there's gold here too. On the underside, some fully textured and painted tread that I think looks really good. Spidey, quite clearly, he has his shoe game on point. Also, the proportions of the body, I know I've mentioned it, but up close, yeah, he looks very real. For a not-so-quick side-by-side comparison, sit down, take a load off, grab yourself some popcorn or maybe a cup of tea. cause we might be here for a while. On the left, integrated suit, and on the right, tech suit. Now, integrated suit is ever so slightly taller cause his body is newer, but other than that, the bodies underneath, they're pretty similar. Although the color scheme, there is a stark difference here. Tech suit, stark. Nevertheless, I'm really happy with the evolution of Spidey's suits in the movie all the way back to the new iconic suit in the red and blue. Which, for those wondering, yeah, it's my all-time favorite Spidey suit in any live-action appearance ever. But enough gushing about the new red and blue suit, we're here to discuss the integrated suit, who's the exact same height as upgraded suit from Far From Home. Now, technically, these suits are supposed to be the same thing. In the movie, he was wearing upgraded suit when Doc Ock gave him the nanites back, so why are there so many differences here? The black sections have split to reveal some red underneath, and there's a whole bunch more panel lines. Now, maybe it's something I just missed in the movie out of the 4 or 5 times I've seen it, so unfortunately, yeah, I'm just gonna have to watch it again. Alright, let's try and pick up the pace here. On the right, battle-damaged upgraded suit, also from No Way Home. Now, he's the same height once again, using the same body, and technically, this is the suit that becomes the integrated suit in the movie, cause his belt area is accurate to No Way Home. Also, I do like the juxtaposition of having a clean integrated suit and a dirty upgraded suit. The super inaccurate, but still kind of awesome black and gold suit is also the same height. Although with black and gold suit, his entire outfit is rubbery fabric, as compared to integrated suit where it's a mix of spandex that's screen printed and the same style rubbery fabric. This guy doesn't get a ton of love, and I understand why. It's the rubbery fabric for Iron Spider. He's slightly shorter than integrated suit, but even though there are a ton of differences, there are a ton of similarities as well. He's got the arm gimmick that plugs in the exact same way. He's got the swappable eye gimmick, and his chest logo is the same shape, just a different color. And the same thing goes for the suit, it's also a different color. Plus, he's slightly shorter than integrated suit Spidey. Doctor Strange, also from the No Way Home line, wearing a custom V-Dot Collectibles head sculpt. YouTube Shorts review is live on the channel if you're interested. Yeah, he's taller than Spidey, as he should be. It's villain time, starting off with Flint Marko, aka the Sandman. This guy is third party, made by SL Custom, but he totally works here. He's taller than Peter, once again, like he should be. Until Hot Toys Green Goblin comes out in either version, this will have to do for now. It's Toys Era's The Fiend. Now, he's pretty much the same height as Peter, which is kind of weird considering he's a full-sized adult versus a high schooler, but on his glider, I guess it's not going to be a huge deal. Such an underrated figure, especially for third party, but it's Toys Era's Doc Ock. Yes, this is another case of it'll have to do for now until the Hot Toys one eventually comes out. Fingers crossed they fix their goofy head sculpt though. Nevertheless, I think that for some reason Toys Era went slightly smaller in scale. Both Norman and Otto here are shorter than Spidey. For some reason, when I reviewed this third-party lizard, some people said, "No, Justin, he's way too tall." Now, I don't know what movies you all watched, cause in Amazing Spider-Man 1 and No Way Home, Lizard was so big that Spidey could crawl all over him and web him up. So to me, this looks spot on. It didn't really feel right comparing this Spidey to the blue Electro, so we'll save that comparison for later. When the proper No Way Home version comes out, the proper badass Electro, we'll do that comparison in his review. And to cap things off, the shot I'm sure you've all been waiting for, me included, all 3 Spideys standing together. We've got the Hot Toys Amazing Spider-Man 2 on the left, and on the right, Thunder Toys Spidey. Then smack bang in the middle, integrated suit. I do like seeing the different heights at play here, it's just some more visual difference in the collection. Will I display these 3 Spideys together? Oh, you bet I will. Will I replace the 2 flanking Spideys with the upcoming Hot Toys versions? Again, yeah, I'm going to. Going over articulation, feel free to skip this segment entirely if you own the upgraded suit or you've seen how it moves. Cause this guy, he has pretty much the same exact body as the upgraded suit. Also bear in mind this is my personal copy, so I'm going to be a touch more careful. Starting off with the head sculpt, it's on a double ball peg. Going forward to there, going back to there, decent for web swinging or maybe wingsuiting poses, swivel and pivot side to side. The arms will go up on clicky ratchets to there. They will go forward and back, just be aware of the bunching. You do have a butterfly joint that also goes up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow going just past 90, plus a hinge and swivel for the wrist peg. The torso crunches forward and back on multiple joints, swivels and pivots. The legs will go forward on soft ratchets to there, going out on clickier ratchets, swivel at the upper thigh, double bend at the knee going past 90, plus a double ball peg for the ankle for forward and back and rocker, and lastly, toe articulation. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. Now, the first annoying thing is, unlike back in the day where when you got a Deluxe you get both display bases, nowadays you don't. Hot Toys, quit being stingy. So if you want the half-masked head sculpt, you're stuck with this display base even if you don't have room. Or you can be a sucker like me and buy both versions. But honestly, you really shouldn't have to. The standard one should come in the box as well. The second annoying thing is the wingsuit. Don't get me wrong, I like the look of the wings and I'm glad it's included, but functionally and practically, it's a nightmare. Trying to line up all of the teeny tiny magnets, it's just not gonna happen unless you have a ton of patience and a lot of time. As you can see, I've tried my best, but there are gaps and it sticks out in certain places. From most angles, it looks kinda goofy. Plus, you do have to have him fixed in this position. You can't really go crazy with the posing with the wings on. The third annoying thing is 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Hot Toys, what is this little bump on his noggin? They seem to have gone back to the old style of stitching where it kinda sticks out way too much. Not sure why, but it's definitely there. Is it a deal breaker? For me, no. The first cool thing is, maybe, just maybe, we have our first sneak preview of how Hot Toys Doc Ock's tentacles are going to look and also function. The paint applications are good, it's suitably metallic, considering this is rubbery plastic, that can't have been easy to do. The yellow linkages are also rather filthy. There's some speckling of dirt and grime on the surface. The same thing can be said for the claw, but it's multi-jointed, and instead of being rubbery plastic, it's hard plastic. There's some sculpted detail on the inside, and some metallic red for the eye. At least I think it's an eye. We do have a ball joint that attaches it to the tentacle itself, and unfortunately, there is some gappage. Now, depending on where you pose this thing, you can hide it just a little. Instead of going with multiple different linkages on ball joints like Toysera did, Hot Toys, they went with a bendy wire. I think that's the better of the 2 choices, because now the linkages are always in alignment. And the range of motion, I think, is just as good. I don't know what kind of crazy heavy-duty wire is inside this, but you can bend it a ton, and it stays in position. The second cool thing is RIP ugly ankles. Finally, thank you Hot Toys. On the right with the upgraded suit, there's some hideous bunching as the fabric tucks into the joint, but with the new one, luckily, it's a non-issue. The third cool thing is with the deluxe version of integrated suit Spidey, you get no fewer than 3 different head sculpts to choose from. Plus, one of them is the previously exclusive to the Battle Damage Spidey half-masked head sculpt. So if you wanted to, you could absolutely give this head sculpt to your tech suit Spidey, have him sitting on a lamppost eating a churro. Wrapping up on Hot Toys Spider-Man in his integrated suit from Spider-Man No Way Home. My second favourite Spider-Man costume of all time from my first favourite Spider-Man film. So going into this, I was so excited, and at the end of the video, I still am. This figure is really good. Is he 100% perfect? No. The age-old problem with Hot Toy Spider-Man figures is posability. He can pull off crazy poses, but you can't really leave him in them. Cause if you do, you run the risk of damaging the rubbery fabric on his outfit. And the same goes with this guy. I don't really know another way to get all that textured detail on the outfit though without using that style of material, so for me it works perfectly fine. If you're looking to grab this guy purely for posing though, just know you may damage his suit. Everything else, is smooth sailing. The diorama display base, awesome. The accessory count is pretty darn big, and he even comes with the wingsuit wings. They don't work the best, but when you pop them on, it makes for something different. Also, if you do get the deluxe version, you get 3 different head sculpts to choose from. And you can take the half-masked head sculpt and use it on someone else, like I literally just mentioned a little bit earlier. So, at the end of this, do I recommend this as your only Spidey? Well, that depends on you and your collection. If you are going for an MCU display, specifically No Way Home, absolutely, go for it. This guy is the one for you. But if you do want a classic look, then maybe just stick it out for the upcoming red and blue suit. Now, I got mine from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below. They do have installment plans and a reward system. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.